Good evening and welcome to Reality Check. And the big story tonight, these dramatic pictures coming in from Mumbai in the last few minutes, the show of strength by the NCP, the Congress and the Shiv Sena on a day that the Supreme Court has said that it will rule tomorrow on the entire political mess in the state and decide on whether or not a floor test should be called and should be called early. The Supreme Court order is coming at 10:30 tomorrow morning, but before that, the NCP decided to parade all the MLAs here that they say are on their side. They have said the number is 162. Remember, the simple majority mark is 145. So this combine is claiming the support of 162 MLAs. In the Supreme Court earlier today, Devendra Fadnavis, his petition said that he had the support of 170 MLAs, and importantly, that included the entire 54 MLAs of the NCP. However, when you look at these pictures, the NCP only has one MLA missing, and that is Ajit Pawar, Mr. Sharad Pawar's nephew and the current Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra. Apart from that, 53 of the 54 MLAs of Mr. Pawar's party, Mr. Sharad Pawar's party, were present here at this show of strength this evening, along with the 44 MLAs of the Congress and of the 56 of the Shiv Sena. These three parties together, along with a couple of smaller allies and 7 independents, have reached that magic mark of 162. And that is really at the heart of this political battle now about who really has the support. And despite this show of strength that we are seeing this evening, the question is, what will happen when the assembly is convened and the floor test actually happens? Will this hold when the floor test actually happens? Because we do know that the BJP is trying its best and trying to do whatever it can with whatever means possible to lure MLAs away from all parties and to try and get them over to their side. So, is this a genuine show of strength or not? What are the legal issues at stake? The Supreme Court, as I said today, hearing all arguments but putting off any immediate decision on a floor test. The NCP-Congress-Sena combine argued that the floor test must be held right away. They wanted it to be held tomorrow. The other side, the BJP, they said there is no need to rush into a floor test. Procedure has been followed. The governor invited Mr. Fadnavis to form a government because they had the signatures of 170 MLAs, including all those from the NCP. Mind you, many of those NCP MLAs now say that this is not what they had signed up for. They thought they were signing up for a letter of support for the other side, for the NCP-Sena combined with the Congress and not for the BJP. That's their claim. But they are now there in that show of strength with Mr. Sharad Pawar. Their signatures also submitted in a separate affidavit to the Supreme Court by the NCP-Congress combined. Let's go across to Pawan Khera first of the Congress party. Pawan Khera, the question is, okay, there's this great show of strength in Mumbai tonight, but I'm sure ultimately you would agree it depends on what happens on the floor of the House.
Well, it's not for us to agree what happens in the floor of the House. Our confidence is in the floor trust. We've been insisting before the Honorable Supreme Court also, please ensure that the floor test is done ASAP. It's Mr. Modi's party and Mr. Shah's party which is scared of a floor test. आधी रात को आपने शपथ दिलवा दी और दिन में floor test करने से घबरा रहे हैं. Why do they need time? The entire country has watched today the visuals that are coming on your channel right now. Everybody, and I'm sure Mr. Amit Shah has also seen these visuals. There's nothing much he does in the country in any case as a home minister, barring politicking. So I'm sure Mr. Modi has also watched what's happening. And now if they play dirty, do you think the country will forgive them? They stand exposed with ACB withdrawing cases. Let's demand the contractors who got away today with those 9 cases, irrigation scams which have been condoned. Now,
but
nobody is a fool.
Are you worried? Is the Congress worried that its MLAs are coming under pressure as well? Are there attempts being made by the BJP to contact your MLAs, for example?
Well, I'm sure they would have tried, not that I know of any, because even our MLAs, every party's MLAs now realize that, you see what happened to Alpesh Thakur. He went there amidst fanfare and he lost the election there. People of India are waking up to the fact that this kind of politics cannot continue in this country, cannot be allowed to take roots in this country. After all, we've evolved as a democracy, everybody committed mistakes, and finally we have reached a stage where we can be called a mature democracy. And look what they are doing, they are turning the wheel back. So I'm sure even every MLA is sensible. They don't want to switch sides. They don't want to change sides at all. They don't want to go to a party which stands for this kind of politics.
Well, Pawan, just stay with us. I want to go across to Nikhil Wagle, who joins us via Skype from Goa this evening.
No debates.
Mr. Wagle is a very senior journalist and of course knows Maharashtra better than many of us here. Mr. Wagle, just on this point, of what Sharad Pawar has said at this show of strength today. He said we're going to teach them a lesson. This is not Goa, this is Maharashtra. Actually, these are very, very strong words from the NCP chief, and there has been a lot of speculation over the last couple of days about whether Sharad Pawar knew what Ajit Pawar was doing or whether it somehow had his tacit blessing. Do you think that tonight that's sort of been made clear that Sharad Pawar was not in on this?
I'm not sure about it. I don't take Sharad Pawar on his face value. If he's not there, let him prove his majority. Let him formulate a government with Shiv Sena and Congress. Today, the show was impressive. They paraded 162 MLAs, but Hotel Hyatt is not the place to prove the majority. Majority should be proven on the floor of the house. So, if this stays on the floor of the house, then Sharad Pawar will win and he will teach lesson to Modi and Shah. He said that Maharashtra is not Goa or Manipur. Let him prove that on the floor of the house.
Why do you still have doubts though? Because, okay, let's assume that this is some grand conspiracy that Sharad Pawar has drawn up to actually get the BJP into power. But why go through the entire motions that he's going through right now? I mean, why put yourself through this pain? Isse to acha hai support hi kar lo.
I really don't know what Sharad Pawar's politics is. You see, first of all, he assured Uddhav Thackeray that this government will be formed. Then he did not give support letter to Aditya Thackeray, who went to Raj Bhavan and waited for 45 minutes. So what happened? Sharad Pawar and NCP leaders told media that Congress is not ready to give the letter of support. But fact was that NCP had not given the letter. Why this delay? My question is that, why this delay? I blame Congress and NCP for this delay. If this delay was not there, this Shiv Sena, Congress and NCP government would have been formed. This has helped BJP. BJP was waiting in the wings and they have played their cards. They broke Ajit Pawar from the NCP fold and they engineered late night or early morning coup. So Sharad Pawar has to answer lots of questions. One more question. Why he is not taking action on Ajit Pawar? Ajit Pawar is still in NCP. Number two, why NCP leaders are going to Ajit Pawar's residence and why they are appealing him of coming back to the party? If Ajit Pawar is a traitor, Sharad Pawar should sack him from the party. This is not a family issue. This is about the future of NCP.
He is a family member.
Why Sharad Pawar is not taking action against Ajit Pawar?
Okay, and there are some conspiracy theories on that also. I'd like to take that back to Pawan Khera, who has to go. Pawan, just on that criticism that Nikhil Wagle was leveling there about the Congress actually taking too long, the Congress and NCP taking too long. He still doubts Mr. Sharad Pawar's intentions. Do you have any doubts?
Mr. Wagle says that the place to show the strength is the assembly, is the floor. Completely agree with that. We only want the Honorable Supreme Court to take a quick call on that. Who is doubting that at all? It's not in the middle of the night in the Raj Bhavan that you show a strength. What strength? I don't know. So, and whether Mr. Pawar should take action against Ajit Pawar or not, that's their internal matter. I don't think Congress has any business interfering in that or any other party has any business interfering in that. That's their family matter. Let them resolve the way they want to. The limited concern we have is let the Constitution of India survive, let democracy survive, let these people not get away with what they got away in Goa, in Manipur, and they tried in Uttarakhand, or what they did in Arunachal, what they tried to do in Karnataka. So there has to be an end to this kind of dirty politics.
And any doubts about Sharad Pawar's intentions?
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, no, not at all. No doubts on Mr. Pawar at all. I mean, there are conspiracy theorists like Mr. Wagle. I respect him, but absolutely no doubt on Mr. Pawar. Every needle of suspicion is on Mr. Amit Shah, Mr. Narendra Modi, in the governor, the hitman of these two people. So let's just focus on what's clear to the eyes. Right now, you've seen everything. Let's just attack where the attack needs to be done, not to everybody. And that's the problem with some of our liberal friends. They love to attack their own. They love to attack those who will give political voice to their liberal values. Now, up to you. I mean, you're free to do that. But at the end of the day, you are weakening the political voice of liberals.
Okay, Pawan, I'll come back to you in just a little bit. I want to ask Mr. Asif Bhamla of the BJP in Maharashtra that, Mr. Bhamla, why has the BJP opposed a floor test in the Supreme Court to be held right away? You guys are confident that you have the numbers of 170 MLAs. Then why not agree and say that a floor test should be held in 24 hours? What was the problem?
Let the Supreme Court tomorrow in its hearing mention that the floor test is to be done in the 24 hours. You don't expect the floor test to be done in the Supreme Court. We are not fools to have floor tests in the Grand Hyatt. After all, utterances in public, in press conferences, sound bites, or parading in hotels or photo ops is not a matter. I mean, this is just a pressure tactic on the governor. Create optics to influence public mind finally. I mean, assembly is the platform where you will, and the suspense will be unveiled. It's not far from now.
No, but when you look at this footage, Mr. Bhamla, when you look at the pictures from this Hyatt event just now, it doesn't look like you have the entire NCP with you. I mean, they're clearly with Sharad Pawar. So now there will be a suspicion if people vote differently on the floor of the assembly that somehow they were coerced or induced into doing so.
You see, if they are so confident, I agree that the Congress is confident and the NCP, the Shiv Sena is very confident, then why are they so scared of their MLAs? Why are they, I mean, when Kashmir mein jab telephone lines or Wi-Fi connections off hote, to you make such a big story about it. Now you've kept them like slaves. Why are you scared? Let them be free. Let them, you have confidence, and Congress is talking about, it's not even elected, it's leader of the Legislative Assembly. And
so are you saying that the NCP's MLAs who were here this evening were being held hostage and taken at gunpoint to the Hyatt to show their support to Sharad Pawar?
That's not for me. That's not for me to decide.
But they're there.
If this is the confidence, if this is the level of confidence, and if this is how much they have evaluated about their MLAs, this wouldn't have been seen. It's pure drama. It's pure optics, you know.
No, but they're there now. Mr. Bhamla, the point is the MLAs are there. So and they are there clearly showing their support to Sharad Pawar.
Nidhi. Okay, Nidhi, let me submit to you. There have been instances in the past in assemblies where there have had such ball and such catwalks and such gala evenings where people have talked. But then the reality, the real check has been on the floor of the House, and the suspense will unveil, and it's not far from now. I think you will witness it. I will witness it. The country will witness it. If the BJP is unable to garner the numbers, so be it. We will sit in the opposition. We are not so desperate to have our MLAs howled from the railway stations to the airports to have them accumulated and create an optic that we have so many numbers, because this is all irrelevant. The Grand Hyatt is not the assembly. It's not the assembly.
That's fantastic from your point of view. If it's all just drama and optics, then I don't understand why the BJP didn't support the floor test tomorrow.
We are here.
Forget, the Supreme Court is a separate thing. I'm asking about Mr. Fadnavis's position in the Supreme Court, which was,
How do we, no, Nidhi,
because this
you
is
are
what the
telling
lawyer
us to
argued.
violate, you are telling us to violate the instructions given by the Honorable High Office of the Governor. We can't do that.
The Governor gave you 14 days. You don't need to take 14 days if you're so confident of your numbers, right?
No, we are confident, but we want to go by. We want to go by the number, by the time allocated by the governor.
Why?
We will go by it.
But why? You don't have to.
You want us to? No, you want us to redo a judgment or an arrangement which the Honorable Governor has given to us?
No,
we are not in that capacity.
It's not the supreme God of the universe who's telling you have to do this. You have, within 14 days, you have to prove your majority, right? So you could have said that yes,
How-
let's
how-
have a floor test in 24 hours. Just as the opposition argued. You say you have 170 MLAs. Let it be proven tomorrow. What are you waiting for?
You are aware, okay, let me submit to you. You're aware the matter is in the court and we haven't gone to the court and they have
But
been
you
to the
argued
court.
in the court.
So,
You argued in
yes,
the court
so
saying
tomorrow is it,
that
so
you don't need to
tomorrow
do
is
it
the
in
hearing.
24 hours.
No, listen to me. Let the honorable court decide and say, okay, no, you
The
proved in
honorable
24
court
hours.
will
Or
decide.
let the governor,
I am talking about the BJP's
governor,
position. Why don't you want a floor test immediately?
We are okay. Let the governor say this. Let
Why?
the governor say this.
You
So
can
tomorrow
say
you
too.
do it.
The chief minister can say.
Why? We are not in a hurry. They are in a
you're not-
hurry.
but
We
why
are
aren't you in a
relaxed.
hurry? That's my point. You should be in a hurry.
We are not in
you
a hurry.
are so confident
Listen
you
to
have
me.
the numbers. You should be in a hurry. Let me
Okay,
ask the
Nidhi,
Shiv Sena about
we
it.
are We are not in a hurry because we are confident. We are
Achha,
calm.
yeah.
We've not lost our cool. Have you seen any stress or tension on Devendra Fadnavis's face? Did you see the stress on all of them out there in the whole number?
Okay.
Every
So,
person
let
out
me
there
ask the
was
Shiv
so
Sena
stressed,
spokesperson about
was
that.
so overworked out. We're relaxed. We will
Sanjay वो कह रहे हैं कि
submit
आपको
to the state when
You're
we
all
are
looking
told to.
tense.
ये अपने आप चुप नहीं होंगे या कहना पड़ेगा आपको थोड़ा सा तब चुप होंगे हाँ हो गए चलो ठीक है ओके अब पूछिए
नहीं, ये कह रहे हैं कि ये फ्लोर टेस्ट इसीलिए जल्दी नहीं चाहते हैं क्योंकि ये लोग बड़े रिलैक्स्ड हैं. जल्दी करने की कोई जरूरत ही नहीं है.
देखिए ऐसा है कि शिवसेना है एक बार वायदा कर दिया तो कर दिया उसके बाद ना तो खुद पीछे हटते हैं ना पीछे हटने देते हैं. इन्हें जल्दी नहीं होगी मगर कल डिसीजन सुप्रीम कोर्ट के आने के बाद सब चीज़ें सेटल हो जाएंगी और बड़ी जल्दी इस पे फैसला होगा कि हाँ फ्लोर टेस्ट कब होगा क्योंकि टाइम बाउंड इसका होना चाहिए जो कि नहीं किया गया.
लेकिन ये बताइए ये तो जो उन्होंने कहा ये तो सही है कि यहाँ पे अगर आप शो ऑफ स्ट्रेंथ करते हैं वो ठीक है. होटल में तो फ्लोर टेस्ट नहीं होता ना. तो ये सब डिपेंड करेगा कि असेंबली के फ्लोर पे क्या होता है. कुछ भी हो सकता है.
बिल्कुल आप नहीं कुछ भी कैसे हो सकता है. यहाँ पर 162 MLA हैं इनको चिट्ठियों पे साइन है शपथ पत्र हैं और जो सबमिट किए जाएंगे और पूरे प्रोसीजर के साथ सबमिट किए जाएंगे. इनमें से अगर एक भी विधायक ने उसके अपोजिट अगर वोट किया तो ये उनकी सदस्यता जाती है. ऐसे कैसे ये तो बड़ा ये ऐसा नहीं है कि फ्लोर पे कुछ भी कर देंगे. शपथ पत्र को दिया जाएगा बाकायदा सबमिट किया जाएगा. इतना आसान नहीं है कि जो ये सोचते हैं कि हाँ कि कुछ भी फ्लोर इट्स ओके कि फ्लोर पे ही होगा लेकिन फ्लोर पे वही होगा जो यहाँ पर दिख रहा है.
अच्छा आप कॉन्फिडेंटली कह रहे हैं फ्लोर पे.
अच्छी बात है हम स्वागत करेंगे आपका.
आप स्वागत करने के लिए ही हैं.
हो रहा है
आप स्वागत करने के लिए ही हैं.
यदि फ्लोर पे वो होगा जो आप कह रहे हो
बिल्कुल आप स्वागत कीजिएगा. हम इंतजार कर रहे हैं
आपके
स्वागत का.
हम वहाँ हमें नियंत्रण पता है. हम अपने
आपके स्वागत का इंतजार रहेगा.
हमने अपने MLAs को किसी होटल में रखने की और हमें कोई भय या
नहीं होटल में रखने को इस मुद्दे को कुछ मत कहिए. महाराष्ट्र बहुत बड़ा है. इस विषय पे डिस्कस करने की बजाय एक मिनट आप रुकिए भी थोड़ा सा रुकिए भी. आप चुप ही नहीं होते. आप चुप ही नहीं होते.
अच्छा 1 सेकंड लेट मी गेट द अदर्स.
क्वेश्चन पूछने के बाद आंसर तो लेंगे.
अच्छा एक मिनट
आपको रोकने का क्या अधिकार है?
आसिफ जी 1 मिनट Avi, let me just get you in on this. Many thought the Supreme Court would have come out today with a ruling and got this over with. Now another 24 hours are going to pass and then probably a minimum of another 24 to 48 hours before the floor test is held. So that effectively is given almost 5-6 days for the BJP to work on its numbers.
Yeah, well, since Saturday at least,
Yeah.
or since Friday evening.
Yeah.
But you know, there are three different issues which are being conflated by everyone. One is the governor's decision to invite the BJP with NCP, I don't know what to call it, NCP light, or NCP to form the government.
सेना गठबंधन कह सकते हैं आप.
Sena Gandhi, chalo.
So one is the BJP, that's one decision, which is what's the Honorable Supreme Court seems to be looking at. The legality, you know, under SR Boumai, etc. That's what they seem to be looking at is, and what we haven't seen is what was the letter from the governor to the president, the report saying, or the basis of the letter, which seems to be, according to the Congress at least, and the NCP and Shiv Sena, a fraud played on the governor because that letter was meant to be something else, presented by Ajit Pawar with the signatures of all the NCP MLAs. It was not meant to be in support. If that is indeed true, somebody should face prosecution. The second is the president's decision, which came, as you know, at an ungodly hour or a godly hour, at 5:47 in the morning. That's not being looked at by the Honorable Supreme Court. But what I think should be looked at, which nobody is really looking at legally, is what's being called horse trading. Everybody says we want to prevent horse trading. But horse trading, there's a legal dictionary definition, which is shrewd political negotiations, entirely legitimate, and what horse trading has become, which is inducements, threats, coercion, all of which is illegal. So is, by the way, restraining people from taking off from airports, etc. All of this is illegal. There's been the JMM bribery case, if some of us will remember, in which there was an immunity for voting in the House, but not an immunity for offering bribes. In none of the state assembly crossing of political boundaries has anybody investigated, despite phone recordings, transcripts, etc., any case of an attempt or an actual bribery. And this cannot be the basis for any actual voting. And I don't understand why horse trading in itself, what is this sort of idea of illegal horse trading is not.
So you're saying that that's a bigger thing that the courts need to look at now?
This is what the courts should be looking at, whether it's suo moto.
This
is what the police should be registering cases about, because this is nothing but bribery. It's an offence under the Prevention of Corruption Act. It's an offence under the IPC. And this is what we need to fix.
Well, Ketan Vaidya is a senior journalist joining us from Mumbai as well. Ketan, what's your take on this show of strength this evening? Is it for real?
Well, I was listening to Mr. Wagle, a very senior journalist, and I agree with his point that the final test of strength is on the floor of the House, and whenever that happens. However, for all those BJP spokespersons who are calling this event and a grandstanding, I think they have picked up a leaf from BJP's own behavior. In Arun Shoury's word, BJP's eventocracy. And I think the constitution is not vestige of government offices. A constitution is for people to celebrate. Tomorrow is a constitution day, and nobody can desist anyone, leave aside elected members and lawmakers from taking an oath in constitution. Definitely nobody is desisting away or running away from the legal process, and courts will decide the future course of action. And if BJP had such regard and respect for governor's office, what happened? It wouldn't have conducted the oath ceremony in such a way. I mean, there is one instance where PC Alexander, a former governor, asked for affidavit from each MLA to ensure that the process is free and fair. I think this is an anti-Ramarao moment, in Maharashtra politics. And Wagle sir may add, because he was an active student leader during the emergency, this opposition unity, index of opposition unity, is similar to what had happened in 1977.
But Ketan, can I just ask you, because a lot of Delhi journalists in particular, or the national media likes to focus on, political strategy, Amit Shah being the Chanakya. So, when they think that this is some operation that's gone really well for the BJP, the Home Minister and the BJP President gets credit for it. And now you're already seeing some people talking about Devendra Fadnavis misleading him. What do you think happened here? Is it that Ajit Pawar oversold the support that he had? I'm pretty sure the BJP wouldn't have done this without having some solid basis for it.
Well, it's too early to arrive at any conclusion, but clearly if these numbers reflect and copy themselves and display themselves on the floor of the House, then clearly Ajit Pawar's plan has failed, and it has failed miserably. And I have great objection to this overuse of the term Chanakya, because Chanakya was a philosopher, Chanakya was a thinker, he was a Machiavelli of Indian politics. However, he was never a ruler. He didn't have institutions at his disposal. So you have all the machinery and the power, and you call yourself Chanakya. That's, I think, tomfoolery.
All right, I'm afraid we're completely out of time tonight. I'm normally used to anchoring for much longer, but thank you very much to all of you for joining us tonight and taking us through that big story. Thanks very much.